dashboard, stream manager. Talk about the stream setting. Oh, there it is. Edit stream info. Fanfair. Done, I'll take it. Okay, you can start it off in 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. Hi, everybody. I don't know. I was like, I'm going to be a menace. That's the energy today.
Yeah.
Such is the life of an Auburn fan. Welcome back, everybody, to the College Fanfair or the Pajama Party, whatever you want to call it. It's our thing that we do. Starts at the start of the season, ends at the end of the season. No off-season talk, no trash talk, just pure football.
Yep, we take it.
And if we're here, using that metric of logic, if we're here, then obviously that means football's coming. Right?
Right.
There are games on this week. So here we are. Welcome to week 0 of the College Fanfair. I am Matthew Reddy. With me is my brother, Micah Reddy. Micah, how you doing?
I am doing great. Was not prepared to record at 3:30, but we'll get there. This is a very scuffed first episode. Week 0, who cares?
Well, it's week 0 is like a very scuffed week because like you got to think like, let's see, hold on.
Better production value than the ACC network. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, after all, this Saturday there's only going to be 5 games. Yeah. Oh,
5 games.
Actually, we have a top 25 matchup. Iowa State and Kansas State.
And that's it.
That's it. In Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, I mean,
we all remember how that went last year, so.
No, Boise. I thought Boise was playing, but that was a lie.
No. Boise is Thursday.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get into that in just a second. In the meanwhile, we've got a lot to talk about as we get ready to kick off this upcoming season. Hopefully, you all will join us every weekend, or every Monday
I thought we
after
said
college football to
Sunday.
talk. What
We'll
he said.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, yeah. So hopefully, you guys will be joining us every week to talk about what's going on, because we got a lot to talk about, and we'll actually get started right now. So, Micah, what do you want to discuss first? We've got like two major topics: Arch Manning carrying the Texas to the #1 spot in the AP poll. We got table talk, where we're going to talk about our favorite contenders for the upcoming season.
Hmm.
Also, pajama party, the usual Auburn and Georgia Tech run around, and then that's it. Where do you want to go first?
I I want to talk about Arch Manning
Why?
because we agree that he is overrated, and that I want to explain why I feel like he's overrated in terms of I don't think he should be rated at all. Right? This is a kid who sat behind Quinn Ewers for 3 years, and yet everyone is treating like he's the next, greatest thing to happen at quarterback since Tom Brady. They're saying like, he's a Heisman candidate, he's going to go #1 in the draft, and that may be. But if he was as good as everyone said, shouldn't he have played instead of Arch?
You mean shouldn't he have played instead of Quinn?
Yeah, instead of Quinn, right?
Okay, well,
And he could be great. I'm not saying I'm opposed to that. I'm saying I want to wait until I actually see him play before making judgment calls about him in Texas's season.
right. Like we both agree Texas shouldn't be one, but we're
Mm-hmm.
both on two different planets with Arch. You say he is overrated. I think he's just overhyped.
Mm,
Like I get it. He's a Manning, and that's great. And as someone that grew up watching Peyton and Eli chuck the ball every Sunday, I'm super excited that there's a Manning back in the fold. But let's maybe wait and see what he does before we determine if he's going to go #1 overall in the draft or contend for the Heisman. Because you as you pointed out, Quinn Ewers, who went in the 7th round of the NFL draft this year and has not looked great so far in NFL preseason. Um, yes, he did start ahead of Arch Manning, and in the process took Texas to the college football playoff in back-to-back years.
yes.
So it could just be like we kind of talked about this when Steve Spurrier brought up that quote of if Arch is so great, why couldn't he beat Quinn? Well, and I'm a little shocked. Steve, actually, it makes perfect sense when you consider that Steve Spurrier one time he had 3 quarterbacks that were like mid while he was at Florida. So what he did was he would just start him, and then the second one of them threw an interception, he would bench him and replace him for the next one. Diabolical, but so at the same time, I'm not shocked he said this, but I mean, you have to think. There's this term, "stay with the hot hand," right?
Yeah.
Quinn wasn't like absolutely pissing the field. He wasn't like ruining Texas' season. So why bench him? Just because the other guy's name is Manning. I mean, it's probably not a case of where Arch is terrible. It's just Quinn was just good enough.
True, except let's see, how many times did Quinn Ewers beat Georgia? Oh, he only played Georgia once, and he lost, right? And how many times did Quinn Ewers win Texas the playoff? 0 times. So do you stick with the hot hand, or do you, in those moments, like do what Nick Saban did, right? Alabama was losing the national championship game. Jalen wasn't getting it done, so he switched to Tagovailoa. What the hell? Tagovailoa,
Tagovailoa.
and they came back and won it, right? So if your
Yeah,
quarterback,
in the national championship game.
yeah, but this is the SEC championship game to determine a first round bye in the playoff.
Well, as Georgia and Arizona State and Boise State. Who's the other one I'm thinking of?
Hang on.
That got
Also, Nick Saban did the same thing in the SEC championship game
Okay,
where
yeah,
he
yeah,
benched
but
Tagovailoa for Hurts. So your argument of that was the national
okay,
championship game doesn't work.
it still does. Bullcrap. There's a difference between like, hey, we're already here and we're already losing. Like Nick Saban admitted it. He was like, literally in the locker room, he just told his coordinators, he was like, let's just see what happens. Like he didn't even know if it was going to work. He was just like, whatever. We're here. We're gonna if we lose, that's it. Like that's the season, right? There's no other game to play for, and they were already losing anyway. So he was literally just like, let's just try it. Like it was literally a gamble. Like, okay,
A gamble
and
he made in the SEC
that paid.
championship game next year.
Yeah, because Tua got hurt.
Okay, all right, you got me there.
Like Tua was hurt and was struggling, and he was like, pull him before he makes it worse. So, and then the other rest of it. Plus, I mean, when Jalen Hurts is your backup quarterback, I think you feel comfortable switching him out. We had seen what Jalen could do. We know that Tua could do more. Yes, true, but still, it's not a bad situation to have. Arch, that would have been very unfair to Arch with like, you know, pulling Quinn just because you're not, which he wasn't like throwing like a boatload of picks in the games, right?
Right, but he just wasn't winning. Like he just wasn't going to beat Georgia.
But who's to say that Arch would have done that? I mean, they did.
Who's to say he wouldn't?
We got a sample and it was terrible. Like Arch could not move the pocket, or he couldn't move around the pocket.
Why the hell is he the Heisman favorite? And that's my point. What has he done in 3 years sitting behind Quinn Ewers to deserve this much hype?
I agree with you. Like I agree with you, but I don't think he's better or worse than Quinn. We're gonna find out. I think he's good. You know, like it's Manning.
Yeah, I mean he is a Manning.
The worst Manning is still better than like half the quarterbacks out there. So, you know, the worst Manning in the NFL could win a Super Bowl. We know this because we watched Peyton do it.
And Eli.
So, Eli never really been. Eli played in the Super Bowl when he was good. He didn't have a Von Miller to carry him all the way to the big game when he was on the decline, like Peyton did. So
I feel like,
but still,
a ton of Broncos fans are about, and Andy is about to bust through your door and like crucify you.
Andy will admit it. Andy's like, our defense carried us. Yes, they did. Von Miller just turned it on. But anyways, but speaking of Mannings, but a different one. So yeah, for those of you that follow college football, what started this whole thing is the AP poll came out recently, last week actually, which I, as a traditionalist, I herald that as like, or I consider that the heralding of the new college football season, like when the first AP poll comes out. The top 4 teams are Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, and Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you that read, so probably nobody in Athens, or Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
I write for a website called MikeFarrellSports.com. Are you familiar with Rivals.com, Micah?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't remember if he started Rivals or if he was a part of Rivals when it was formed, like way back in the day. But this is his own website. So my first piece for them was kind of a critique, if you will, of the AP poll. Basically saying what we're both saying, right? Texas is number 1 just because Arch Manning's the quarterback.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good media piece. Like, as a journalist, that justifies me putting Texas number 1 because I want all the smoke for Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that. But literally teams 2 through 4, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, have at least 20 better arguments as to why they should have been number 1.
I think Clemson is overhyped.
I disagree.
I
can't, dude. I can't get with you there. Why do you think Clemson's overhyped?
Okay, because their main selling point in terms of how good they are is like their offensive production, right?
Which was great.
Yeah. but it's an offense that got blown out at the start of the season by Georgia, that snuck into the ACC championship game because Miami had an awful defense, and that got blown out in the first round. So,
Okay, here's the thing though, and I actually the funny part
is
is
Clemson good?
I wrote
Yes.
I
Are
wrote
they
this
top four? No.
I literally wrote this in my article. One of my sentences is people probably watched Clemson get blown out of the water by Georgia in week 1 last year and then tuned them out. You just did that. So I know I'm right. But I mean, look, Cade Klubnik is a first round NFL quarterback prospect. 3,600 yards last year, 36 touchdowns, his 6 turnovers. So for every 30 touchdowns, he threw 6 interceptions. That's insane. Plus, it looks like the Garrett Riley, the little brother to Lincoln Riley, it looks like the Garrett Riley offense is working finally. We had that one weird year where we were trying to figure it out, but now like everything's clicking. 80% of the production that got Clemson to the playoff last year is back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the exact same argument I have for Penn State, which is they return at least 75% of their production. And part of that production is a NFL first round quarterback prospect.
See,
Drew Outler.
I think Penn State should be number one for that reason.
I
also
agree.
think Ohio State should. It's like the reason why I don't want to put Ohio State at number one because they're 101 in terms of returning production. So like their national championship winning team is heavily depleted. Clemson, you're right. Their offense got them to the playoff as the 12 seed. I think 10 to 12 is the right spot to put Clemson, not 4. Not counting them as the 4th best team in the nation. I hate this because behind them is Georgia, but I'm being honest. Right? Is it that ridiculous to think about in terms of, yeah, they're returning a lot of production. Here is like the peak of the mountain that production got to. We haven't played the games yet. Clemson could come out. Clemson could, absolutely dominate and win after the first few weeks. But in terms of like a preseason poll, they're overhyped, right? Wait till we play some games before you start making these statements, which I have no problem with preseason polls. It's part of the fun of college football, like these types of conversations. So I'm happy they're ranked 4 because it gives us something to talk about, but I will stand by that they're overhyped.
I mean, it's fair. Like, where would you rank them then? Like, if you didn't put them at 4?
If I didn't put them at 4, I would either.
There's a really easy one. There's a really easy one that you're missing.
LSU.
Team you could, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you could switch Clemson and LSU, and I'd be okay with that. So,
Yeah.
No, I'm excited, dude. I'm so excited for LSU this year.
Oh
Garrett Nussmeier.
Hey,
I've got him in Drew all the time.
You know who Clemson plays in week 1?
LSU.
LSU. This is perfect.
This is good. Yeah, we're gonna get the answer right out of the gate, and we're gonna see which coach turns into a pumpkin first, because like it happens to both Brian Kelly and Dabo, which Dabo was not like this. It's weird how like the narrative has changed on him so quickly. Like I remember when Clemson would just go out and win the game with when they had like Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and all those guys. Man, what a couple of seasons does to you. So yeah, one of them has to win this game, and I think it's going to be Dabo, just because I don't trust Brian Kelly that much. But if we're taking head coaches out of the equation, give me LSU all the way, because I like Garrett Nussmeier better than Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik, yeah. So, oh man, that's gonna be so good. I'm
pretty.
The main point is we both agree Texas is overhyped. Should not be number 1. I would probably basically take that top 4, do it Penn State, then Ohio State, then Texas, and leave Clemson. They're fine.
I would do.
Actually, switch Ohio State and Clemson.
I'd do Penn State. I would do Texas. Then I would do Georgia Southern, and then Notre Dame, and then I would switch LSU and Clemson. So put Clemson at 5, and then switch them and LSU, and then we're done. And that's my top 5.
I mean, it's fair. The rest of the AP poll for those listening. So Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia. It's your top 5. Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama for some reason. LSU and Miami. That's your top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona State, Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan, Florida, SMU, Southern Methodist University, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Indiana, Ole Miss, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, and Boise State. That's your top 25. Now, so we would all, I think both of us agree Penn State should be number 1 overall. Couple of other overrated teams that either need to be kicked out entirely or just relocated. Georgia, I would not put all the way up there. Top 10, yes. Top 5, no. Alabama, get him out. I'm sorry. Nick Saban is gone. Okay, they lost. The only good player. The dream is dead. The only player that's coming back that's worth 80 note is Ryan Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like if you want me to put Alabama somewhere,
sophomore to play in college football.
Yeah. Dude, that meme was the best part of last year. Did you know Ryan Williams is the youngest player to lose to Oklahoma? Did you know Ryan Williams is the youngest player to lose to Vanderbilt? Yes. I was like, this is annoying. And then, like, as it just kept going, I was like, this is pretty great. I like this. So, if you want, to be fair, put them at 11. Okay? Like, yes, they're talented. Let's make them earn the top 10. Unlike when Daddy Saban was there and we handed it to him on a silver platter. Okay? Put them at 11. That's all I'm saying. Put them at 11. Miami, kick them out entirely. Their solution to replace the generational talent in Cam Ward was to go out and scoop up Beavis and Butthead from Georgia, who dropped. Listen, it's no hate to Carson Beck, except it absolutely is. Why? Because he was awful last year. Like, I had him quarterback 3 because I was like, okay, well, he's really good. Offensive line's a little different. Brock Bowers isn't there anymore, so we'll get to see a different kind of quarterback. Let's just see what happens to Carson. And his completion percentage dropped by like almost 10%. Like, he went from 72% to 64%. That's not what you want out of a senior quarterback who's been there for a minute.
You know what? You bring that up, so let's make this simple. Let's switch Florida and Miami.
Okay, why are you putting Florida in the top 10?
Because it's easy to just switch them instead of rearrange the 15 through 10.
If you switch Miami with anybody, switch it with Illinois.
I want
put
Miami.
Illinois in the top 10. No. I will die upon this hill.
I was thinking about switching Illinois and Arizona State, so we can switch Illinois with Miami. That's fair.
Okay, perfect. I know, Luke Altmaier, not the flashiest quarterback in the country, but he got the job done.
Okay, so we switched Illinois with Miami. Would you be comfortable then putting Florida at 12 and Miami at 15?
No. The only place I would put Florida... Listen, okay, all right. We're doing this. You're going to, first of all, we're going to boot Boise State out, okay?
Thank you.
It was the Ashton Jeanty show. Let's see what you do this year. Are they going to be good? Sure, but how much of that was Boise State? How much of that was Ashton Jeanty? We're going to find out. So, boot Boise State out. Put Florida in their spot. If you absolutely have to rank them, put Florida at 25. It's just, I'm sorry. I get it. DJ LeGuay is the truth. I'm super pumped to watch him. He is a Heisman hopeful on a 7-5 squad. That's insane, but that's just how good he is. Mm-hmm. That is not enough reason to rank a team just because your quarterback might be good this year. Because while DJ LeGuay is a Heisman hopeful, you know who else is a Heisman hopeful? Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, like Drew Aller. Like, there's like 4 or 5 players ahead of him that will most likely win the award before he does. That's just because of the team they've got around him. Like
Yeah.
Billy Napier got some signature upset wins last year. And what did I say, Micah? What did I say last year? All throughout Florida's season when they were before the Tennessee game.
Mostly, you just use Florida as a chance to beat down on Florida State.
True, but I also because he was doing the two quarterback thing with Graham Mertz and DJ LeGuay. Remember?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, just
play
DJ and you'll win. And sure enough, after the Vols game where DJ was forced into action and looked good, dude, I mean, I was cheering for Tennessee, but I remember watching. I was like, "Dang, he's pretty good." The minute he switched, what happened? He got not one but two signature upsets over Ole Miss and LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. So, like, I get it. The kid's good, but like, one player does not justify a top 15 ranking.
Yeah.
You know, like that's fringe playoff contention.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But I have a counter for you.
What?
If you put Florida in the top 12, it would piss off Seminoles fans. And that's always worth doing.
Carson, Beck, if you're listening, if you want to make both of us happy, beat Florida State. Why? Just do it. No reason. The Seminoles are just the arch enemy of the show. So, even though by all rights, considering our teams, it should be Georgia, but Florida State for whatever reason.
Florida State is like you're trying to piss off your younger sibling, right? Like it's just for the love of the game. You know, it's cute to watch them wheedle and act petulant.
Yeah.
We can get to petulance and national champions later. I want to talk about that. But with Georgia, it's a visceral, absolutely livid hatred.
Dude, last year when Georgia Tech lost to him, I thought you were going to rip a hole in the floor. You were so mad.
Yeah.
But
dude, that game ruined my sweep schedule just because I was so angry for the next month. I'm still not over it. Like, it pisses me off to this day. It's so.
Oh
yeah.
The Texas A&M 2014 game still pisses me off to this day. Which, speaking of A&M, 3 things in life are guaranteed: death, taxes, and Texas A&M somehow making it into every preseason poll despite accomplishing nothing. It was like, did you do anything August 4th for Texas A&M Day, Micah? 8-4?
No, unfortunately.
Happy belated Texas A&M Day to all who celebrate from us here on the pod. Yeah, it's just they're at 19. Again, Marcel Reed is not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Like they looked good. Don't get me wrong. They looked competent. They looked way better than when Jimbo was there. It's just they didn't do anything. They won the Texas Bowl, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this is a case of I want to see some results before you place them somewhere.
Yeah. Now, like, everyone's probably thinking, well, gosh, you got to rank somebody. Who would you rank in that spot? Well, I'm very glad you asked or didn't. If you didn't, oh well, it's our pod, not yours.
Brigham Young.
Before Brigham Young, actually, I present to you 3 contenders that could have easily taken the bottom or a few like lower bottom spots in the top 25, and it would have been completely justified. For instance, Louisville.
That's fair.
Yeah, they went 9-4 last year and contended for the ACC, and like most of that talent comes back. I get it, not the quarterback, because Tyler Shuck went in the second round for some reason to the New Orleans Saints. So, but still, if you put Louisville at 19, okay, I'm not gonna fight that. I'd be like, yeah, sure, totally, that's fair. Instead of boys, dude, you know who would put it 15 over Florida?
Who?
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Like, if we're ranking teams based on returning quarterbacks, then put some love on Haynes King's name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at George.
Not just
Like
Haynes
you,
King, also Jamal Haynes and Eric Rivers. Like, we'll get into. You know what? We're going to talk about Georgia Tech when we get to Pajama
yeah,
Party.
but I said quarterback alone. But yes,
Quarterback
also
on.
those
Yeah.
players. So they looked very like dude that Georgia game. I was like, this team can compete.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this team showed up in week 3, who knows how far they would have gone. Like they are a heavyweight favorite or they're probably not a hyped up favorite. I should say. Would you consider them a heavyweight? We'll talk about it in the pajama party. But seriously, they're one of my favorites to contend for the ACC title. You pointed out to me that they have a very favorable schedule. The only game that they are the underdog in is against Clemson.
Yep. Well, actually, we're also the underdog against Georgia, but
okay, so 10-2 at best, or right. Look at Florida's schedule and tell me how many of those games do we actually reasonably full faith in God think they're going to win. Or not full faith in God, honest to God.
I would take it that we beat like Georgia over Clemson because Brent Key. There's just something about that man who his spite for Georgia levels up the team. Right? Like he said when he was hired, we will practice 365 days a year to beat Georgia. Which is good because Georgia is the best. So if you can beat Georgia, you can beat anyone. But it's also just perfect for me because that's all I care about. Go 1-11, and as long as that one win is against that team to the east, I'm happy.
But here's another thing to further my point. So here's Florida's schedule. You ready?
Ready.
Teams that they have to face that are currently in the top 25: LSU, Miami, Texas, Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Do we really think they're going to have a better schedule at the end of the year than Georgia Tech? Look me in my eyes and tell me that they're winning 10 games with that schedule.
I feel like if they go 8-4, they should thank their lucky stars.
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
I can see them beating Miami. I can see them. They can't. Nope. Ole Miss is at Ole Miss. I mean, well, Kentucky beat Ole Miss at home. That was a great day.
I remember when Auburn would get like the de facto hardest schedule in the SEC just because of LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Then last year, the SEC scheduling god said, "You know what? We hate Florida." It's just insane. I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all about to get eviscerated. So I won't complain ever again as long as we don't have to do anything like that. Because 3 of those opponents are in the top 10. 4 of those opponents are in the top 10. So,
yeah.
Good luck, Florida fans. You may be 15 now. You won't be at the end of the year. So
enjoy it while it lasts.
Is any other teams you want to shout out who should have got in or should maybe fall out before we move on?
Teams that should have got in. I think we both agree on them. Okay, so
I don't remember.
This does not make any sense, but Army would have been nice. They don't need to, but boy, would it have been nice. It would have been a beautiful thing.
Just for the bit.
Just for the bit. For the narrative. Yeah. The agenda, right? The agenda must be preserved.
Yeah. That's fair. Who do you think? So here's a fun one. Well, real quick, I do have one more I want to point out. They went 6-6 last year, so I know I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this. But USC.
Okay, yeah, actually,
the Trojans. Like the reason being is, they looked horrible in their first year. It was an adjustment year for the Big Ten, But Miller Moss, he is not a bad quarterback. It's just the whole time you were watching him, it was like, I feel like there's a system better fit for you, my guy. Like
Yeah.
it looked like Lincoln Riley named him the starter out of seniority, right? When he finally got benched and Jade Mavia came in, totally different ballgame. Like we're talking, so he completed 59% of his passes for 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. It was just a different team. They just looked like a different team when he came in. So, and he went. Hold on, I need to count real quick. When he took over, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4-1 as a starter. So a much better fit for the Lincoln Riley system. So I think USC, they could have snuck in at 25. I think they will sneak in sooner rather than later. The question I was going to ask you though is like last year, obviously we had several surprises like Boise State, SMU, Arizona State. They all crashed the playoff out of nowhere. Is there a team that you're picking to do that this year?
To pull a Boise State.
Yeah, pull Boise State not only crash the playoff but take a top seed. Any team.
Yeah.
Any team in the world. Who is it?
Georgia Tech.
Okay.
This is the problem with being a Georgia Tech fan right now is I think they are one of the best sleeper teams for the playoff.
Fair.
They have a very realistic chance to get to the ACC championship game, and if you win that, you're in. So tell me, ESPN,
it's fair.
Why did you give Auburn better odds than Georgia Tech? You know who Auburn has to go through. Just because God hates Florida more than Auburn lately does not mean Auburn gets an easy schedule.
That was great. I'm going to pick Texas Tech. Anyways. It just quite literally. So Texas Tech actually could have made the playoff last year. Here's the funny thing. They could have gone to the Big 12 championship game, won the Big 12 championship game, locked up a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But they lost the game they needed to win by 1 point. Or, excuse me, by 3 points. It was 36-33 to TCU. The offense looks solid. That's always been Texas Tech's forte. It's just Coach Joey McGuire. He looked at that one loss. He was like, okay, never again. And they spent $28 million in the transfer portal and on NIL to go get some dogs in the trenches, basically. So, and money does talk.
That's where games are won.
Exactly. So you know what? When I try to think of like who else in the Big 12 could actually contend outside of Kansas State. It's not really anyone that comes to mind. So it could be Texas Tech's big year. So that's what I got. So moving on.
So before we move on, because you wanted to do table talk, we're going to shelf that for a later episode because it is an interesting conversation about who sits at the table.
So that might take a little longer. We'll do that in another episode. So
yeah,
I'm still laughing at God may hate Florida, but that doesn't mean Auburn got an easier schedule.
So I want to move on. I guess pajama party early.
Pajama party.
An extra bit. So before we do that, I got to go do something. So we will
be right back. Afterward from our sponsors at Bomber Jacket Cigar Company.
Okay, yeah, you can talk about that.
No, I'm not. That was a joke. I don't have anything prepared.
Ramble. This will be quick.
Ramble?
Yeah, ramble.
He tells me to ramble. What am I? An extrovert? Jeez. So before I catch a lot of heat for saying Alabama should not be number 8, they shouldn't. Okay, like Jalen Milroe he was talented going into the year last year, and he's gone. They are not a statement coach team anymore. I really think 9-3 is the ceiling for these guys. Or it could be 10-2, but like whatever playoff spot they get, I don't think they're going to make a very deep run. So, throw me all the smoke. I don't care. Like Ty Simpson, we need to see it to believe it. So, also Notre Dame, that same thing applies to Notre Dame and Oregon. But money talks. So,
All right, I'm back.
Cool.
I just had to go put on my sweater and
Love it.
jacket, so we're good now. Okay. Pajama party, extended edition, because I need to ask you a question. I want your thought on something.
Okay.
What is more cringe? Okay. Printing and making rings for a 7-5 season, or arbitrarily claiming 7 extra national championship games.
Printing, dude. The rings for the 7-5 season. That's 20 times more cringe. What are we talking? What? Claiming national titles that the media recognizes and you weren't even alive to debate for anyway. How is that more cringe than we went 7-5? Let's go get some diamond-studded pieces. What? Let me guess. It was Vanderbilt.
No, it was Georgia Tech, unfortunately.
For what?
We went undefeated at home, and that's like my excuse in terms of defending it.
What? Wait. Georgia Tech made rings for going 7-5?
They did. Again, we went undefeated at home, and I'm going with that's the reason for it. My audio sounds weird.
Auburn has gone undefeated at home multiple years. We didn't make shit. Anyways. What?
I'm surprised
Pardon my French. That's just stupid. Like, I'm sorry. What do you mean? Vanderbilt needs a whole parade.
If they did. That, dude, when they beat Alabama, they put on an impressive parade. Pretty much everyone did it. Like when we beat Miami, we threw our field goal into the river. It was a good year for bringing that back.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I mean, nothing better to celebrate a college football win with than public vandalism.
It's a nice treat you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody trashed it for no reason.
I mean, you know who's the kings of public vandalism for celebrating victories?
Georgia.
I was going to say Auburn because Toomer's corner, Georgia. But yeah. Sure.
Well, I mean, yeah. Actually, no. Alabama. Because they kill things. What? Still not over that one. Did you hear that they're retiring Harvey Updike's jacket at Alabama? Anyways, I'm sorry. Moving on.
Moving on.
Why are we... Okay, so why are we starting with this?
Because it's like everyone is talking and a lot of people are kind of laughing about it of 7 just national championships you're suddenly claiming. Like, how many does Georgia Tech not have claimed?
I don't know.
Right now, we claim 4.
Find them. If there's more, find them and claim them. Like, what are you going to do? Pull up the replays? There were no replays. Like, it was all pen to paper media back then. So yes, I'm on the boat of like, if you can justify it through the media. That's weird. Got a thumbs up on my screen. If you can justify it through the media, like if it's a consensus, because there was no ESPN back then, right? So if there's a consensus that you were the national champions, if you had a good record, like an undefeated season, yes, go out and claim them. Who's going to stop you? What are they going to do? So yeah, going 7-5 though. Hang on, I need to see what these things look like. Georgia Tech 7-5 rings. Oh, this is real, and it is because they went undefeated at home,
Okay, see,
bro.
I'm cool with that. You know, that's impressive. It's your fault for not being that like proud. You know, Auburn needs a win. Don't just randomly decide you were national champions in years where there are other more legitimate contenders.
That's what they look like, people.
That's sick.
Again, who else was there? Who else is claiming them? The 1958 one, LSU has a claim for it as well. Yes, we can debate that one. But, like, seriously, go look at the media consensus for all those years. National champions. Even 1993, when they couldn't go to a bowl game, you had the media saying that they were national champions. So, you know. Now, do we have rings for those? No, because there's nobody alive from those teams to claim them. But at least they didn't go 7-6. 7-6, Micah. Not even 7-5. 7-6.
Okay, two of those losses were rigged by bullshit refs.
Again, the media was there to document it, though. The loss is on paper.
The losses are on paper as well for the other years of Auburn's Phantom Championships.
You want to talk Phantom Championships? Don't.
It's Alabama.
Yes. Okay, they just pull them out. They make up national championships. The
Yes.
Tooth Fairy brings them national championships.
Oh, there are so many where I look at them and I go, "What are you doing, claiming that?"
The reason why Auburn took this long to finally, I will say, 2004 again.
I would claim 2004.
I have issues with it because while USC did vacate that title, there's not a rule that says whoever's number 2 automatically gets bumped up a spot. So, you know, that I'm still like, will I claim it? Yes. Do I feel good about it? No. But like Auburn went off of the NCAA's like Auburn, like yes, the media can proclaim a team the national champion, right? UCF did that in 2017 when every Florida newspaper printed national champions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The NCAA has to take a few things into account before like it actually validates the record as national champion. Like, did you know the college football playoff is not actually accounted for in the NCAA's national championship system?
I actually did know that, and that's like the biggest problem with the sport is the NCAA needs to step in and fix this.
Exactly. Now the NCAA plays along, right? Because you know, but the NCAA like looks at a lot of records and stats and stuff and media consensus before the NCAA recognizes a team as a national champion for the year. That's what Auburn was waiting on. And sure enough, when the NCAA did do all that for all the years that Auburn claimed, that's when Auburn stepped forward and said, okay, we're going to recognize them. Alabama has 3. 2 are shared titles. They're not even outright. One of them, the season ended on a loss, and the only media that recognized them as national champions was the Birmingham media. You want to talk about mythical national get off my lawn. So, but yeah, if the major media recognizes it, if the NCAA says so, if you got the records and the stats, yeah, claim them. You want to debate me about Yale's claim to the 1913 national title? No, you don't, because I don't care. Did Yale win in 1913? I don't know. If you told me, sure, I'll believe it. Go claim the championships. Like, I hated it, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I wasn't there though. So I guess I don't care. It's a good little marketing move. So yeah, 9-time national champions. Suck it. Anyways. Now, Hugh Freeze needs to get us to number 10. That's coming up in a minute. So I'm sorry. We started on Pajama Party, and then you gave me crap when your team did 7-6. Continue. What did you want to do?
Yeah, that was it. I was just because everyone else has been mocking Auburn for it, of like, wow, you guys just made up. But I do agree in terms of Alabama has so many more fraudulent national championships because there's some where they lost like 2 to 3 games and they're like national champion.
Yeah.
The beat reporter was Mr. Gary Dinkelhopper for Mobile Alabama radio show.
Gary Dinkelharper.
Gary
It's
Dinkelharper.
the same Gary Dinkelhopper that was on CBS when Bama played. That Gary.
No, this is a different Gary. He was reporting in the 50s. He had one leg, married his cousin, the traditional Alabama natives. He's like the second uncle of Harvey Updike.
You could have created a reporter and you just make the worst human being. Like, wow. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. So if you again though, if you've got the stats and the mass media to back it up, claim it.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at some of Georgia Tech's like unclaimed championships, and I'm like, if Auburn can do it, let's go ahead and bump ourselves up to 7 because
do it.
That dwarfs Georgia's current 4 because we're tied. And up until like Kirby Smart, Georgia Tech had more national championships than Georgia, which I find hilarious.
Yeah.
But if we bumped ourselves up to 7, we would tie Oklahoma in terms of number of national championships, which is cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're all chasing Yale at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're all chasing Yale. Yale has 27. Okay? You think Bama having 18 is cool? Try to get to 27. Okay? Which, by the way, yes, Yale has 27 national champions.
They have 18.
Look it up if you don't believe me.
I'm looking at it right now. They have 18. Alabama has 16. Freaking Princeton has 15.
Yale has 27.
They have 18.
They claim 27. Okay, well, they claim 27. Still, though, the point stands. We're all chasing Yale and Princeton. Okay? We're all chasing them. So, if claiming national championships from years where people weren't there to argue with you about it, yeah, do it. So, do it, Georgia Tech. Do it, you absolute cowards. At least just find one, one that's like, okay, the media backed it up, the stats are secure, the NCAA record, like, just do that one at least, Anyways,
I mean, if
back to the 7-6 rings.
Why did I tell you this?
Why did you? Oh my God, I'm gonna roast you the entire year. Like anytime Georgia Tech gets 28 points, is that worth a ring? Anytime they get a turnover, is that worth a ring?
They went undefeated at home, and
they went undefeated. We did it multiple years. Yeah, 2014, 2016, 2017. We did it multiple years. Not one ring.
Skill issue. Neg diff in terms of marketing.
Okay, well, our marketing team just tied us with Ohio State for national titles, so get on my level. Anyways, where was the ring thing going, though? I'm really curious. I'm assuming it was like, what's better than a 7-5 ring? An ACC ring.
And we're going to get one of those this year. That's hope, not cope. And that's something, to segue into the pajama party. Is like
we were already in the pajama.
Yeah, true. But to move on from Phantom National Championships and what are you doing, boys? Why? Because the college football fan in me is like, okay, come on. You went undefeated at home, whatever. But I'm a homer, so I have to stand by my boys. So they went undefeated at home. Good for them. You know what?
Wait,
if you can,
okay, hold on.
Go for
here is one more thing about rings before we move on. So obviously winning a national title is like the ultimate reason to get a ring made.
Mm-hmm.
What's the acceptable minimum reason? Do not say going 7-6 and defending your home turf. Like
the
If
acceptable
you
minimum.
if you wanted to make a ring for winning your division, okay.
But there's no more divisions.
No, well,
Like, but,
the Big Ten still has divisions.
really?
Yeah. Oh no, wait, no, they don't. They were one of the. Yep.
Yeah, there's no more
The
divisions,
Big
so
12.
that's not
I
happening.
think. I think the Big 12 still has them.
I would say so. This is something that Georgia Tech can't do because the ACC sucks. Um, but like, let's say you pick your three biggest rivalry games every year. So for Auburn, right, that's Georgia and Alabama and LSU, except not LSU anymore. But you have all of your rivalry games, and if you go undefeated in those games, like if you beat all of your rivals, I would say that would be an acceptable minimum to make a ring of like, we kicked the butt of those we needed to kick the butt of. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That sound
Yeah.
fair?
No, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. But anyways, I was just
A
curious.
step above
Anyways,
that is defending your home turf.
shut up. Anyways, so yeah, but a step above all those is, of course, winning your conference, which Georgia Tech has a very real shot to do.
Yes.
Why?
We are in a state of hopium, right? There is no coping. It's just we have a super forgiving like schedule. We're favored in all but two. We bring back Haynes King and Jamal Haynes, and we have gone from having the best wide receiver in the ACC, which is Eric Singleton Jr., to the best wide receiver in the ACC, which is Eric Rivers. Because it's Brent Key, you know that our offensive line is going to be absolutely devastating. And we still have, which according to Mark Richt, who he knows ball, Georgia Tech has the best defensive line coach in the business in Jess Simpson. So couple that with Blake Gideon, who took a 3-star recruit and made him a like consensus All-American as a secondary defensive player. Come in and like Brent Key knows how to hire assistants. I've discovered. I'm convinced. Right? He goes out, he gets Buster Faulkner, and he takes what is one of the worst teams in terms of offensive production and absolutely masterclass in terms of running it down teams' throats and like winning games through famine tactics. Hoard the ball, control time of possession, and starve your opponent. And then, our run defense was bottom 10 in the country. So he goes and he gets Tyler Santucci, and his job was fix the run defense. Georgia Tech had one of the best run defenses in the ACC, but our secondary took a step back, and so now Blake Gideon's job is to just fix, not just like fix the secondary, but give us a complete defense, kind of like what he was a part of at Texas. And given Key's track record, that's very likely to happen, and it'd be like amazing if that happened. And so, our glaring weakness last year was A, an injured Haynes King, and B, our pass defense was non-existent. So you fix those two things, right? Haynes King stays healthy, and Blake Gideon brings the defense up to speed with the rest of it. And all we have to do is win one of two games, Clemson or Georgia, and we're a playoff contender. All we have to do is beat Clemson, and we're in the ACC championship game. We don't even have to beat Clemson. We can drop Clemson, and as long as we take care of business in the rest of our ACC games, we're going to Charlotte. And then it's just a matter of do I like Clemson or Miami more as an opponent for the ACC game? Personally, I want to say Miami.
Clemson is going to make it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They're just, unless they absolutely fumble the bag in a couple of games, they're going back to, they're the most loaded team in the ACC.
Okay, yeah. So they get the rematch against Clemson, beat that, and they're in the playoff. Like this is a 10-2 team. Their floor is 9-3. Their ceiling is 12-0. Our defense is too much of a question, and offensive line, we did lose a lot of starters. The hope, like the line of our offensive line is going to take care of itself, is because this is just Brent Keith's specialty. Like him and Jeep Wade make great offensive lines. So it's less of a question, but it is a question. Like we did lose a lot of starters from our O-line after last year. And so with those two questions, I'm not going to say 12-0, but I'll give Georgia Tech a 10-2 record. And I will stamp that confidently with taking it all in the regular season, the limit. In which case, you cannot complain about us making rings for that season of going undefeated. Right? That is up there in terms of reasons to make rings.
Still cringe.
Shut up.
So, first of all, Buster Faulkner, my favorite name in college football. That is the most footballiest name I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So you say that Clemson and Georgia are like the only two teams that they've got to worry about, right?
Yeah. I mean, Duke, because it's an away game, that's a potential trap game.
I give them to you a couple more. You ready?
Yes.
Colorado, right out of the gate on Friday.
This is true.
Like I know that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are gone. You've got to think Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, though, those were just the anchors for Deion Sanders to put down while he built up his program. Caden Salter, who he brought in to replace his son, I wanted Caden. I wanted him to come to Auburn so bad. For 3,600 yards and like 30 plus touchdowns, he is insane. He was a Hugh Freeze recruit. Like Hugh Freeze got him to come to Liberty. He took off once Malik Willis went to the NFL draft. He wanted to come to Auburn last year due to some academic thing. He couldn't, so he goes back to Liberty. Then he hits the transfer portal again. Basically did the same thing he did the year before. So he's very consistent. Deion Sanders went and picked him up for Colorado. And if you think I wanted him, a lot of teams out there wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your first game right out of the gate. I would give Georgia Tech the benefit of the doubt simply because, they know what they're doing on defense. Colorado will be figuring things out under Caden Salter at center.
Well, both Georgia Tech is also figuring things out on defense. But it's not just Shedeur Sanders. Like, you're replacing a 7th-round quarterback.
Fourth round. Let's put a little respect on his name.
Okay, 4th-round quarterback. You're also replacing the Heisman Trophy winner and a key part of both your offense and defense. And so less of Shedeur, but more of just trying to replace Travis Hunter.
True.
And if I didn't get the time zones mixed up, I meant to go back and see like how many offensive yards like Travis Hunter contributed.
It was so my biggest thing was like I didn't like Hunter winning the Heisman over Ashton Jeanty because Ashton Jeanty, was just insane, right? So I can give you that answer real quick though, because when I went back and I looked at his offensive production at Colorado, let's see, hang on. Well, that's just funny. ESPN they've moved all of his stats because he's now in the NFL. 2 receptions, 9 yards. Okay, so far that's how he's doing in the pros. But let's see. Like a ton, right? But it was enough to warrant. Okay, here we go. Receiving yards. Dang. Receiving yards at Colorado. You ready for this? 1,000 1,258.
Okay, and how many passing yards did Colorado have overall?
That's a great question. Didn't think about that. Let me see. I know that Shador had like over 3,000, so Travis contributed at least 1,000 to that. So
4,134. 34. 34.
34.
34. 34. So that's like you're trying to replace a quarter of your pass production.
He could do it.
He could do it, but Georgia Tech is still
Listen,
favored. So
what
yeah, I
I'm
am worried
saying
about
though
the
is
game. But that's all it is a worrying because at the end of the day, it's a game everyone expects us to win, right? Like
except for Colorado. Like no one knows how to hype up a team better than Deion Sanders.
mm-hmm.
Like they'll show up ready to go. But like that's one game right there. I wouldn't worry too much about Duke. Like I know that that's a home game for Duke, but I mean Malik Murphy was like the best quarterback they've had since Daniel Jones, and he transferred. So really, honestly, Georgia, Clemson, Colorado, and Pittsburgh.
I would include Syracuse because they had our number last year, so it's kind of a
They had
revenge match.
they had your number with Kyle McCord. They
Is
do
he
not
gone?
have Kyle McCord. He's gone. Yeah,
Oh yeah, sweet.
he's playing for the Eagles now. So, but you know,
behind Hurts.
I know, right? Like it's an embarrassment of riches for Philadelphia right now. But I'm just saying, like I'm not I'm not trying to rain on your parade. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Tech will contend for the ACC. Not a case of they will. They
They
absolutely
will.
will.
Again, with
I
the 10-2 is because we're going to be either Georgia or Clemson, and so there's one extra loss hiding in this schedule.
it would
It
be
could be
absolutely
Colorado.
hilarious. It'd be hilarious if like they went 10-2, but they lost to Colorado and Boston College.
That'd be the most Georgia Tech thing in the world.
So it was like, well, you can't be that mad. So
I mean, we beat Georgia and Clemson. No, like that's our two
yeah,
biggest rivals on the schedule. The only other one we have is technically Virginia Tech, but that's just because people can call it the Tecmo Bowl. That's the only thing like that rivalry has going for it.
I do like that name a lot, the Tecmo Bowl.
It's a cool name, but historically it doesn't matter. Like our historic rivals is Alabama, Tennessee, and Auburn and Clemson, and Georgia.
And you only played two of them.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Get Georgia Tech to the SEC. Anyways. Okay. Is there anything else in the pajama party you wanted to add to that?
That's about it for Georgia Tech. I'll do a deeper dive on Colorado next week because that's like the actual week I want to play. So that's just a quick overview of the season expectations, hopes for the defense, expectations for the offense, and it's great to be a Yellow Jacket. So to hell with Georgia. That's all I'll say. Now for the other half of the pajama party.
Okay. Let's get into this. So, Auburn. Where do I don't even know where to begin. Okay. So obviously, going back to mythical national champions, which are mythical when they're in record books and stat books, and media outlets. So it was hard for me to celebrate those. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited and I think it's great. I think it's really awesome. I mean, Auburn fans have been saying it for years, like, because the media in 1983, 1993, even, like you said, some people in 2004 even Like they all declared Auburn the national champion.
Mm-hmm.
And the NCAA even backed up those claims. And just like what other programs do, Alabama, Florida, like where those two things come together and they hang the banner and claim it, right?
Yeah.
Auburn, for whatever reason, just I really don't know why. It's like Auburn would just refuse to do that. And it's like, oh, we only won the national champion before 2010. We only won it once in 1953. Well, why did you win it in 1953? We had a great season and the media said so. The same thing happened multiple times. Like, so fans have been like clamoring for Auburn to claim these national titles that everybody else gives Auburn except for Auburn, right?
Right.
So and like so just every year there was always this debate, especially when USC vacated the title. Like when that was stripped away from them, everyone came out of the woodwork to say, well, then Auburn's the national champion. And, Tommy Tuberville, like, never shut up about, granted, he was the coach, right? He would know better than anybody about who should win it because he saw it firsthand. Tommy Tuberville has always said Auburn should be the national champion. The NCAA needs to just recognize Auburn as the national champion, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's been going on for years, especially 1983 and 93. And I've seen some people say 1951 also. But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
another thing that Auburn fans have been saying is we should just retire Cam Newton's jersey.
And
I
they're
mean,
finally doing that.
it technically, yeah, but it technically already was. Like, Cam put on number 2, won the Heisman, won the title. Nobody else on offense. It's on defense. You'll see a defensive player wearing number 2, but nobody else on offense has worn 2 since Cam. Well, the other day, all of these things that Auburn fans have been saying Auburn should do, claim these titles, everyone else has, why haven't you? Retired Cam's jersey, it's basically retired anyway, why haven't you done already? All these things Auburn fans have been clamoring for, John Cohen just wakes up and does it. One foul swoop. You know what? Yes, Cam Newton's jersey, retired. We're going to officially do it against Georgia. You know what? All these other national championships that everyone has been giving us except for us, well, we're going to take them too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we will claim all those titles. And it's just like, it's very odd. Like, if Tennessee did the same thing right now, after making the college football playoff, after having some really good seasons, um, with Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton and all that, if Tennessee did the same thing, well, people would be like, well, look at Tennessee. They're just on top of the world right now, because they're having a great time. For Auburn to do that, people are like, oh, man, they must be desperate for attention right now. They must be desperate for a good feeling right now because next season is going to suck. And honestly, it kind of worried me when all these things happened because I was like, why did you wait until now of
Yeah.
all times to do this? Like, we've been asking for it for years. You could have picked any year to do this. Auburn's coming off of the worst. We're still enduring what is now the worst 4-year stretch in program history since Harry Truman was in the White House.
And we all know it's like Harry Truman's fault whenever Auburn is bad. This is
Yes,
established by science.
yes, and as we all know, Donald Trump is not actually president. Harry Truman's ghost came back and demanded the job.
Again,
I
it's
learned that
always
from
his
Alex
fault.
Jones. Yeah, but but like, so like, I was like, it's just very hard to celebrate these things right now because it just feels like you're doing it because you're trying to get as many wins as possible before the season starts. And I'm like, why would Auburn be scrambling to do that? Now, two sides. There is a chance that things are going completely off the rails behind the curtain and the team doesn't look as good as the coaches are letting on to the media. And John Cohen is just trying to get as many, you know, as many wins as possible before the season even kicks off, right?
Right.
That's what it kind of feels like, because all that we have seen in the last couple of weeks is Hugh Freeze has there's a clip where Jackson Arnold he didn't make the read properly, right? So he held onto the ball, didn't even throw it. He just held onto it and watched. And Hugh Freeze like threw his visor down, was like screaming at him, and the media's like, "Oh, look at Coach Hugh Freeze." The recruiting has been like thrown in Auburn's face because Hugh Freeze went golfing for a month,
Yeah.
and they were like recruiting is going to suck at Auburn. Well, yes, Auburn is ranked like 35 right now, but I mean we haven't even played football yet. Like recruiting rankings don't matter until National Signing Day. Like
They
you know,
kind of matter.
kind of, but like not really. Do you know how many teams have started number one in recruiting rankings only to finish 22 when all is said and done? Like, do you know how many teams start at 50 and then they end at 10? Like, so Hugh Freeze, his whole thing is recruiting.
Yes.
Like that's the
From the
one
get
thing
go.
at Auburn. Yeah, from the get go, that's the one thing at Auburn he's gotten right. Like we've gone from like the 15th class to the 8th class to the 6th class. Well, I'll get to that in a second. So his whole thing is recruiting. So everyone was like, well, recruiting must suck. Then he must have lost his edge. He's out golfing. He's phoned it in. And then there's reports coming out of practice that Jackson Arnold still hasn't picked up the RPO as quickly as he needs to, and that he looks terrible. All of these things sound, are easy to
Bad?
ingest. They're bad. They're also easy to ingest right now as Auburn fans because for the past 4 years, it's been nothing but a giant suck fest. Meanwhile, our basketball team went to the Final Four. Meanwhile, the baseball team hosted a College World Series Super Regional. Like Bruce Pearl and Butch Thompson, they have elevated their programs to new heights. And that's great. That is awesome. I love Auburn basketball. I love Auburn baseball. I love Auburn football more. Is a football school.
Yeah.
So it's time for Auburn football to step up. Now, I start with that Debbie Downer because I said it's easy to ingest those because we've lost the past 4 years. Yes, it's true. And it's easy to go into the season with kind of this sense of dread and despair because of what has happened. Like in the world of gambling, if a team has gone to the national championship 3 times in a row, obviously you would bet on them to go there again, right? If a team has lost 10 games 3 years in a row, obviously you would bet on them to lose 10 games again, right? If your team has gone 4 years in a row with a losing record, it's easy to bet on them to go a fifth year with a losing record, right?
Yeah.
That's all that I've heard about Auburn. Sometimes it is believable. I won't lie. Like I don't have as much hype and excitement as you do, but a couple of things that I am clinging to walking into the season that I just want to point out. Number one, we sure John Cohen announced that all these things, the champions, the Cam Newton retirement jersey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, timing is weird, but I mean he had to do it at some point, right? So
Maybe
like
wait until
what
Auburn's like done something again.
but again, like why? Like retiring Cam's jersey, that won't change your season. And like claiming national titles, that looks good marketing wise, right? But that doesn't magically win you 9 games, right? Like if the deal was done, and you have to remember this is part of the business side of Auburn, right? Like this is all part of the
Yeah.
business side of Auburn. This has nothing to do with the athletic side of Auburn. It's just the athletics help them get there, right? He had to make the announcement at some point. Like especially the Cam Newton jersey thing. Like if you were going to do that this year, well, you can't just like walk out in the Georgia game and be like, by the way, Cam Newton, number 2, retired. Like, do you know how many people will be so mad they missed that game because they didn't get heads up? Like, you got to announce at some point. It would have been nice to have announced it when Auburn was actually doing stuff, yes, because then, the media wouldn't be dogpiling you as much, but you got to do it at some point. Hugh Freeze in recruiting. Yes, he went golfing. Do you know how many coaches do that? Do you know how many coaches take a break? All of them. Even Nick Saban. Okay? When the job is 365 days a year, of course they would take 2 to 3 to 4 weeks off to spend time with their family and relax a little. The reason why Hugh Freeze got the most crap for it is because he did what most coaches don't do, and he published his numbers in his golf game. And it's like, Hugh, don't, nobody cares. Okay, they're not gonna celebrate that. Lane Kiffin, who loves to troll Auburn and Hugh Freeze, spent like 2 weeks fishing. Where's the jokes for that? You know? So I'm just
But Lane
every coach.
Kiffin is ranked and had a hand in the college football playoff discussion for the past 4-ish years.
Oh, cool. So Lane Kiffin. Yeah. Lane Kiffin does not have to revive a dead program. He gets to just make talking heads at new studios talk all the time and lose 3 games a year. Good for Lane Kiffin. Go take your fishing break. Anyways, but no, every coach takes a break. Every coach takes a vacation. And it's not a vacation like you and me are used to, where it's like a week off or a weekend off. Like, they've got the money and the time, they can take a month off. And a lot of them do, because that's the only month that they get. Like, outside of that month, 11 months out of the year, it is recruiting, it is game planning, it is coaching, it's recruiting, it's like nonstop. So, you know, if Hugh Freeze was really worried about Auburn's recruiting, like if he was really worried that Auburn wasn't going to get some big dogs coming into the building, which tomorrow there's a 5-star cornerback that's going to make his announcement. Everybody's predicted him to go to Auburn. If Hugh Freeze was really worried about it, I'm sure that he would, because it's his job, right? On the line. So if his job's on the line and he's worried about recruiting, Hugh doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would just throw in the towel and take a month off. Like, if he was worried about recruiting, he would have done that. Okay. Thirdly, about the practice reports. First of all, good for Hugh. Get mad. Get pissed. Throw a fit. Make a scene. Rip your quarterback. Don't be his buddy. You're his coach. This kid's getting paid 6 figures to understand the playbook and win games. You know what happens if I don't do the job that I get paid to do? I get fussed at. It should be no different for college students that make more money than I ever will to win games. So
play
yes.
a game.
Yeah. Well, okay, to play a game, yes, but come on, if you're getting paid 6 figures, the expectation is you'll win some.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, rip into it. I pull no punches now. Like, I used to, like, me and my dad were like, oh, we don't want to hate on them too much. They're just college kids. Well, now they're adults with full-time jobs. So, yes, I rip into players all the time. I don't care. They're getting paid 6 figures to win games. So, if you can't take the criticism, go get an easier job. So, yeah, Hugh Freeze, good on you. Rip into your quarterback. Let him know you're unhappy. You know? And you think he's the only one that does that? Like, did you see Nick Saban in practice?
Yeah.
Nick Saban would abuse his players. Like, you know, psychologically, emotionally. Like, you see the results, right?
Legal disclaimer.
Nick Saban did not.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
Let's avoid a defamation lawsuit.
From both Carson Beck and Nick Saban.
Well, Carson Beck deserves it. I'm just kidding.
But Nick Saban would just tear into his players all the time. Nobody raised an eyebrow. Like AJ McCarron has this awesome story about how he would piss Nick Saban off in practice on purpose. And Nick Saban would just rip into him. Like, which granted, he was pissing off Nick Saban on purpose, so he kind of deserved it. But, like, so just because Hugh Freeze did it, he's the worst, he's a horrible coach, and Auburn's in trouble, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I take that narrative and shove it. Okay, let coaches coach. That's all he was doing. Fourthly, Jackson Arnold, looking bad in practice. Here we go. All right.
Right.
Number one. Half of the things that went wrong, well, not even half. Most of the things that went wrong for Jackson Arnold at Oklahoma was Oklahoma's fault. There was things outside of Jackson Arnold's control. So Jackson Arnold, to start his saga off, he commits to Oklahoma while Lincoln Riley is the coach. Why? Because Jackson Arnold plays the RPO, the system that Lincoln Riley ran at Oklahoma, right? So it was a match made in heaven. Five-star kid goes to learn underneath the guy that made Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray a Heisman winner, right? Lincoln Riley then leaves Oklahoma and takes the USC job. He takes Caleb Williams with him. Who does he leave behind? He left Jackson Arnold. Didn't even recruit him to come to USC. He took Caleb Williams and then he immediately started recruiting other quarterbacks. Jackson Arnold, I can't verify if this is true, but the rumor is he asked if he could come, and Lincoln Riley said, you should probably stay. Again, just a rumor. I don't know if that's actually true, but he left. The bottom line is he left Jackson Arnold in Oklahoma. What does Jackson Arnold do? He decides to tough it out with whoever comes in next. Brent Venables came in. He brought that offensive coordinator that didn't run the same system with him, and they brought Dylan Gabriel in to play, right? So Dylan Gabriel takes the reins. They have a pretty good run. Dylan Gabriel leaves for Oregon. Jackson Arnold takes over for a few games, and he looked great. He looked fine. But then in the next season that came up, it was a system that didn't work for him. They had a different offensive line every game. Every game. A different offensive line. Do you know how damning that is to your team? You can't build consistency. You can't do anything with that, right? Plus, He was thrown to like fourth string wide receivers because everyone was getting hurt. So yeah, I've heard all that. That is true. Maybe Jackson Arnold is the reason they did better than they should have. I'm sure. And for every one report that comes up that he's struggling, there's at least 3 or 4 where scouts are saying, dude, he looks so great. He looks awesome. He's made the right call.
I mean, you want the reports that he's doing bad to come from the coach, because that's like the coach just being a coach, expecting perfection, whereas your scouts are looking at it from an objective point of view of like, no, he's doing really well, and your coach is just either being hard on him, not trying to like inflate his ego.
Right.
Because like Brent Key, first day of scrimmages, said we played 125 scrimmages and played like dog crap for 100 of them. And like, good. Be hard on your program. Don't be like, yeah, no, we did amazing. We're gonna do really well this year. Be hard. Be expectant. And so if you freeze being hard on Jackson Arnold, that's good. I would have a problem if Hugh Freeze was like, I mean, kind of what he was like with Peyton Thorne, where he was like, we can win with Peyton Thorne. We can win with Peyton Thorne. They, in fact, could not win with Peyton Thorne. So to be hard on your quarterback is probably a good thing. And to have all the scouts be like, we're good. We have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, Hugh was hard on Peyton Thorne. Like, he benched him. That's about as hard as you can get.
Season too late.
It's yeah, but like he had the quarterbacks that he had, and he had to make it work somehow. But with another thing I would point out though, so you said that you want your coaches to say good things about the players.
No, I want my coaches to say bad things about my players.
Well, yeah, you do, and like if you'll notice something though, whenever a coach is criticizing a player, he says exactly what he's doing wrong. Like, oh, Jackson Arnold's holding on to the ball too long. Jackson Arnold's not making the read fast enough. Jackson Arnold,
Mm-hmm.
But when a coach talks about their quarterback doing good, you don't ever hear like exactly what it is. They just go, yeah, he looked great in practice today. Why? Because they don't want to give the defenses any ammunition.
Right.
Of like, oh, Jackson Arnold looked great in the deep ball. Okay, well, we'll just take the deep ball away then. Like, you don't do that. So it's easy for like the media and for the fans to cling on to like Hugh Freeze says Jackson Arnold's holding on to the ball too long. Yeah, you can dissect that a lot longer than you can dissect him just going, yeah, he looked great. And for everyone who's wondering, he has looked great. like all of my buddies at Auburn, all the scouts that are in the practices, they all agree like he looks like he looks like a really good quarterback. They're saying things that they didn't say about Peyton Thorne last year. So yeah, so how does that play into my expectations for the season? It's year 3. Hugh
Mm-hmm.
Freeze has said since day number 1, he's been like Auburn is a 3-year rebuild. And we agreed with him because of the damage that Brian Harsin and his recruiting regime did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that sounded fair. And in terms of old college football style, the third year is usually when you found out what you had, right?
Right.
Because all of your guys are now in the building. There's been some time to build up chemistry and learn the playbook. Yeah, it makes sense. And it looks like Hugh Freeze has been working towards that because the past 2 recruiting classes have been top 10, so that by year 3, they go out there and they compete. But it's hard to swallow the 3-year rebuild pill when Kirk Cignetti transformed Indiana in year 1.
I
And
think,
he's just the most popular one. Like there's other
yeah,
coaches that have had shorter turnaround times, right? And I know
Brett
Gus Malzahn
Lashley.
year 1. Brett Lashley, yeah. Gus Malzahn had his current players already on the roster, so take
Yeah, that
that one with
doesn't
a grain of
count.
salt. But so, which I'm like, okay, well, if a rebuild is done in 1 year, it probably won't last very long, right? Easy come, easy go, right?
Right.
Um, if a rebuild takes some time, like you've been preaching, it's probably going to work out for the good for long term, right? It's just it's like the 2 years of building up to that you've given us have not been very inspiring because like Hugh Freeze came into Auburn with this reputation of top notch recruiter, quarterback whisperer, offensive mastermind. We have seen one of those things come into play, which is the recruiting. Thumbs up. So the recruiting looks great. I have yet to
What
see
is
the
that?
fireworks. I don't know. I just do this and it pops up on the screen. Yep,
Oh,
great.
okay.
But like the recruiting looks good. So he's lived up to his promise there. But it's like quarterback whisper. He had 2 years with Peyton Thorne. Have yet to see anything that suggests he still knows what he's doing. At Liberty, yes. Have you seen Malik Willis? Yes. Yes. He did good with him.
Yeah.
Why he hasn't figured it out at Auburn, maybe it was just Peyton Thorne. Maybe he's lost his edge. I don't know. Offensive fireworks, 28 points a game is not really going to do it for you. So I have yet to see that from him. And so I'm walking into this year, I'm not expecting a college football playoff run. Like I'm not expecting a Tennessee turnaround where we go 10-2 or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if Hugh Freeze has been preaching 3 years, and if he's got some guys in the building like Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton Jr., Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, Bryce
Woo!
Kane, 5 top-notch receivers, 3 of them going to the NFL, 4 of them going to the NFL, excuse me, that like with an offensive line that is completely transformed. And it was already an okay offensive line last year. They went out and added the nation's #1 offensive tackle in Xavier Chaplin.
Mm-hmm.
So plus the defense at Auburn has 2 or 3 all SEC studs and a couple of first round projections in Keldrick Folk and 1 first round projection in Keldrick. Like the defense is going to be fine, right?
Right.
It is time for Hugh to deliver on the rest of his reputation. For
So,
anybody's sake, it needs to be his own.
yeah, I
Because
want.
like I have, go ahead.
Okay. So the question is, what is Auburn's floor? What is Auburn's ceiling? And what is Hugh Freeze's minimum requirement? Like, what does he need to save his job?
Oh, easy. Floor 4-8. This thing could fall apart so fast. I'm
Okay.
not joking. I'm not joking. Even with all that talent, if the coaching staff, if it's more of the same from last year where Auburn gets in its own way, players will quit. And it'll be worse than last year. 4-8,
Yeah.
definitely. Ceiling 10-2. Auburn could catch some teams. If they catch fire, if if I almost said Baker Mayfield, if Jackson Arnold gets
If
into a rhythm
only.
and stays out of his own head, like if Jackson Arnold becomes what he was supposed to be at Oklahoma,
Mhm.
we're great.
Hey, it
And two,
worked out
for
for
sure.
Haynes King.
It did work out for Haynes King. It worked out for Spencer Rattler. You know, it worked out for Bo Nix. It worked out for Malik Will. Like, Auburn has lost 2 quarterbacks that have gone on and lived up to their potential. It's time for us to get one. So, um, that's the rule of thumb. For every 2 that you lose, you get one back. The list goes on of like how it's worked out well for other transfer quarterbacks. Great. In fact, my comparison for Jackson Arnold's story is Spencer Rattler. Because remember how he was like the Prince of Oklahoma, a Heisman hopeful, and then
Yeah.
the second the season bottomed out for him, he got switched for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Everyone labeled him a bust. He goes on to South Carolina, does great at South Carolina, saves his NFL future. Like it feels like that with Jackson Arnold. So to save Hugh's job, he's got 2 options. Option A, go 9-3. 9-3. Lose to Texas State, lose to like who are the 3 best teams Auburn plays? Lose to Georgia, lose to Bama, lose to frickin'
Do they
I
play
don't know.
LSU?
No, they don't.
They play Oklahoma.
I guess Missouri's got a lot of talent coming back. That Missouri does have a good quarterback coming in. Oklahoma is in the same boat though, but Missouri has a more loaded roster and a better coach, in my
So
opinion. Let's
they play
let's
in
say
Nashville. They're playing Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt.
let's say they lose to Bama, Georgia, and Missouri because all 3 ranked teams, right? But they
Missouri
win
is
everything.
not ranked.
Oh, well, that'll change.
Okay. Their ranked
Let's
opponents
let's
is
just say,
Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, and Bama.
oh, let's say Texas A&M gets their revenge for last year. So they
Okay.
lose to A&M, Georgia, and Alabama. Okay, but they win everything else. They win games that they're supposed to. They beat up inferior opponents.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them happen to be ranked in the top 25. When they win, Auburn finishes the year in the top 15. 9-3, sure, that saves Hugh's job. That
I feel
quiets
like
a lot of doubters.
9-3, you'd be lucky to be in top 20. Top 15 is a
Eight
little
and
high.
eight. South Carolina and Alabama, top 15, 9-3. Do the math.
Okay.
8, 8-4. But one of those 8 wins came against Georgia or Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Also safe.
Also safe. Okay.
Anything below that, he's out.
So you're either looking at
I just want a
9
9-win season.
wins,
I just want a 9-win
or
season.
you beat either Georgia or Alabama and only drop 4 games.
Football gods are now going to do the funniest thing ever, where we beat only Georgia and Alabama.
Honestly,
Which would be a great year for Auburn. So,
I mean, look what it did to Michigan's ego.
because they'll be like, you only won 2 games. It's like, yeah, and you still couldn't beat us. So, you know.
They rode beating their rival all the way to beating Alabama.
Yep. So, like, you know, that's where Hugh needs to be to keep his job at Auburn, because we have breathlessly defended this man
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years. Auburn has sold out for 4 years despite having a losing record. The fans are getting tired. You know, we show up, we go to the games, we get the stadium pumping. It's time for it to pay off. Like it's just time for things to be different. If Auburn absolutely sucks again this year, I've got no clue. I have no idea. And I'll have nothing to defend Hugh Freeze with. So, the other thing I did want to say though, so like people have pointed out, Jackson Arnold is struggling in practice. He's playing against what's arguably a top 3 defense in the SEC. The best defense Jackson Arnold could play. I heard another podcaster say it like this. I think it was Daryl Dapprich.
Mm-hmm.
If I got the name wrong, then whoever said this, all credit to you. But someone said like Auburn's defense in practice could be the best defense Jackson Arnold plays all year. because not any other defense has as many all SEC players on it as Auburn does. Not every defense has a Keldrick Fault going in the first round as Auburn. So we'll find out. I'm very hopeful. I'm also very prepared for what my response is going to be if things just bottom out, which is going to be the same as always. Show up and cheer anyway. Hope for the best. But yeah, it's time.
Yep. I'm with you there. So I mean, kind of a win-win situation for Auburn, except for their, pocketbooks. If Hugh Freeze doesn't do what he needs to do to keep his job, you fire him, hire Rhett Lashley, and Rhett Lashley just brings all of his boys over. So
I would love.
Again,
we're not doing hypothetical hires.
Okay, all right. We'll get there.
I hope we don't. I hope we don't. I hope Hugh Freeze keeps the job.
Yeah, that's the best case. But again, win-win. I do look forward to getting into hypothetical coaching hires because that's one of my favorite segments of the show. Is that discussion? It's always fun. Speaking of segments of the show, it's time for picks.
This is going to be very quick because there's only like 5 games happening.
There's only 5. So we'll start Stanford at Hawaii.
Hawaii, next question.
Yeah, we're both.
We both agree.
Oh, yeah, we both agree. Stanford has to fly all the way to the middle of the nightmare that is the Pacific Ocean, and they were awful last year. So
yep, okay.
Give me Hawaii.
So we're both there. Perfect. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sam Houston, Western Kentucky.
I don't know jack about either Sam Houston or I know more about Hawaii than both of these two teams.
I'm going to take Western Kentucky just because I like their mascot. It's a giant red monster.
I have also seen the mascot. Western Kentucky is currently favored by 10 according to oddsmaker. So yeah, I'll side with them.
Yeah, I mean it's the thing of nightmare fuel for children. So
yeah,
it's a great mascot. All right, this one's easy. Fresno State versus the Jayhawks.
Jalen Daniels is a good quarterback. Okay, like
I didn't say what did I say? Right?
You said the Jayhawks. Put some respect on Kansas's name.
Huh? I was gonna pick Kansas. That was just me.
Ignore my brother, everybody. Yes, Kansas all the way. Again, Jalen Daniels is it Jalen Daniels? There's Jaden Daniels at LSU, but like Jalen Daniels, Kansas, he's the truth. Great quarterback. Best thing that's ever happened to Kansas since basketball. So
yeah, it is Jalen Daniels.
Yeah. I know it wasn't crazy. Like that tripped me up for weeks last year going, Jalen, like
too many J names.
Did you see what Jalen Daniels wore to the Big 12 media days last year?
No.
It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. He had this necklace, like a diamond necklace, but like in the center was a tiny screen that just replayed his highlights on it. I was like, oh man, you might not win the Heisman, but you won the Aura Farming Award. Like that, it was insane.
Okay, next up, anyways. Idaho State versus UNLV. I mean,
I'm going UNLV.
Oh, okay,
mainly because Dan Mullen is there.
Good. I was going Idaho State.
Why?
Nice. Why? Gut reaction. Like it's just a gut instinct. I'm gonna say Idaho State.
Welcome to journalism. If we don't have the stats and numbers, we just go, I'm gonna go with my gut.
I'm not a journalist. I'm just a guy who loves college football and wants to talk about it. So gut instinct worked out for me last year. And then
with the legendary Florida State bit. Like go back and watch episode 1 last year, y'all.
Was it a bit ever? Was it a bit?
It was, and then it turned out to be real. Basically, what happened is, so Florida State loses to Georgia Tech. Me and Micah did a little game of win-loss where I would read off Florida State's opponent just to try to see how many games Florida State would win that year. Every time I mentioned an opponent, Micah just goes, loss. loss. Like, and then sure enough, Florida goes 2-10. It was the funniest thing that's ever happened on the show. Okay, but anyways, who's the last one?
The only one that actually matters: Iowa versus Iowa at Kansas State.
Iowa State.
You're gonna go. Right? You're gonna go Cyclones. Yeah. Okay.
You said Iowa versus no. I'm not picking them. You just said Iowa versus Kansas State. It's Iowa State.
Iowa State. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot to write down state. My bad.
And to correct you, no, I'm picking Kansas State all the way.
Okay.
Avery Johnson looks good. I think they're settled in their identity on offense. So yeah. Your turn.
I'm going to go Kansas. I wanted to go Idaho just so that it would be different and we'd have some stakes in the matter, but I gotta go Kansas State. So
we'll get to stakes next week.
Yeah. Pick some good ones.
Time, I should say.
Pick some good ones.
Who's even playing? Because we've got Thursday matchups. Oh yeah, we've got some. We got some good ones. Boise State at South Florida. We'll know right out of the gate who's who. East Carolina versus North Carolina State. Don't ever sleep on the Pirates. Mm-hmm. Nebraska at Cincinnati. And then on Friday,
Elon Musk is playing Duke. That's going to be an interesting game. Elon Musk and his...
Duke. Oh, yeah. Elon Musk just walks out on the field. And then Friday, the very next day, Auburn at Baylor, Georgia Tech at Colorado. Those are the only two. And then of course Saturday we get into the thick of it. It's gonna be, dude. Texas at Ohio State. I knew that kicks us off. Syracuse at Tennessee. That kicks us off. Bama at Florida State.
Okay, so real quick,
we got some dogs. This is gonna be great.
Do you want to hear the most heartbreaking story I've ever heard in a long time? So
no, why would I want to be sad?
Because it's not that bad, but it is bad for me and you. So for Mom and Hannah, they wouldn't care, but for me and you, this would hurt. I have a friend.
All right, yeah.
He just married Hannah's former roommate. We went to their wedding. It was a great time, and he's a passionate Ole Miss fan.
That guy, yeah, you told me about him.
He got free tickets to the Texas-Ohio State game.
I hate that, man.
They're not going to be able to go.
Give them to me. Did I say I hate you? I love you. I would die for you. Give me the tickets. Anyways.
I know. When I heard that, I was like, dude, that is quite possibly the biggest game of the regular season.
No, I still have the record for most heartbreaking game, but I couldn't attend.
What's that?
The third Saturday in October.
Oh yeah.
I had Sugarlands Distillery. They're a moonshine company out here in Knoxville. I'm cool with a couple, or I was cool with a couple of dudes that worked on the distributing side. Every year, Sugarlands does this big tailgate at UT for some of the big home games. This year, they were going to the third Saturday in October. Bama versus Tennessee, which Tennessee won that game. It would have been a great time. But they pulled up and they were like, "Hey man, you want tickets? We'll get you a VIP pass to the tailgate we're doing and booth seats with the Sugarlands crew." Yes, I want that. I would do sketchy things to get that. Yes. And I had to say no because my stupid sister scheduled her stupid wedding on the third stupid Saturday of October. So congratulations, Hannah, for your big day as a pretty princess in the magical fairyland to sign off the rest of your life with Philip. I am so freaking happy for you. I will never forgive you for what it robbed me of, which was the second greatest day of my life after my own wedding. So, yes. So, you know what? I'm glad he's not going to that game. Welcome to the Hurt Club, brother. Anyways, love you, Hannah. Anyways.
Oh, well, that's going to be...
I will never forgive her for it. That'll do it for the show. That'll do it for the show before I get, into family trauma and all that stuff. Thank you all for joining us for week 0 Kind of it. This was definitely a slow one,
Again, some
but
scuff. Like I got some things
I'll say
to set up. I was going to have like graphics prepared, but you're an
yes.
hour ahead, so oh
Yeah,
well.
I'll love to Nick Saban and
Also,
quarterback for Miami. So, um, okay, listen,
real
Carson
quick,
Beck.
to
Oh, hold on, hold
oh,
on, hold on. Dear Carson, I know I've given you jokes, I've given you crap. I call you Beavis and Butthead. Everyone does. If you let me down in my quarterback rankings one more time, one more time, I am done. I'm done. I have tried to give you every benefit of the doubt. I had you really high on my draft board a couple years ago. Please just do the bare minimum and look okay. If you do this to me one more time, that's the main reason why I give you crap. It's because you've made me look bad 2 years in a row. I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. Figure it out, dude. Anyways, sorry, continue.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Please be good. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I'll say this:
Also,
Carson
Nick
Beck,
Saban.
please suck. Please be awful. Okay, do terrible.
Also,
Much
Nick
love.
Saban, don't sue us. If you try to sue us, I will have so many questions like, how did you find us? Um,
Also, could you like share the show, like
could
and
you also
subscribe?
like stay retired? Don't come back out, please. We get it. You're really good at football. Thank you for your time. Unless it is to go coach,
Auburn,
no.
they might
Here's
need
what I
a
was
new
gonna say.
coach.
Here's what I was gonna say. Are you ready?
Ready?
I would love Nick Saban write this down for your future ideas. I would love to see Nick Saban try to do a bit for coaching, like a just a coaching bit, right? Where it's not because of the money, it's not because of the team, it's just a matter of him going, I wonder if I could, right? I would
Right.
love to see Nick Saban take the reins at Vanderbilt. I would love to see the science experiment. How far can both Vanderbilt and Nick Saban get with each other? Just
how much leeway do we have for talking about things that aren't college football? Because can I talk about Kentucky? Speaking of weddings and going to that one, Kentucky sucks. Like
yeah.
that whole state, I have always subconsciously known I don't like
You're not talking about
Kentucky.
the football team. You're talking about the state.
I'm talking about the state. Like the whole state just sucks. Like that's what I learned when I went to the like Ole Miss fans' wedding. Was on the way back. That state's awful. It smells terrible. They like their roads have 4 digits in them. Like why do you have 4 digit numbered roads? You know, in Tennessee we have 840, 440, 65, 40. You know, all of that. We keep it to no more than 3 digits. Easy. I don't have time to be telling people, yeah, you got to turn on to like the left at 43068 or 2127, right? And if that's not bad enough, the people are just kind of rude. And Hannah stayed in a B&B, right? Like they got the bridesmaids, because she was a bridesmaid, so the bridal party, they got a, Airbnb, and it had 5-star reviews, right? They walk in
Right.
and it's just covered in mold. And on the walls were a bunch of like photo frames with snake skins in them. Really large snake skins. And to quote Hannah, it
I
looks like someone was going to sneak in and murder everyone. Like you go downstairs, well,
I
all
was
of the
not ready. I was not ready for that.
right, and
Absolute.
this place got 5 stars. Like how low are the standards in Kentucky? So like that state's just. I always knew I did not like Kentucky. I never had a reason, and now I do. Now I know why I don't like Kentucky. Screw that state.
I
It
was ready to
sucks.
go off and I was ready to go off into like, yeah, the worst part is Kentucky sucks, and this is the best coach they're ever gonna have. And you're just like, no,
No,
Kentucky
the state's
as a state
terrible.
just sucks. That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm now no longer worried about Carson Beck and Nick Saban. I'm now worried about Kentucky. Um, Thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week right here on the show. I'm flying to Philadelphia for, speaking of wedding, I'm actually going to a wedding. Shout out
Same.
Josh. So, but, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Anna Kate. Super happy for you. Sorry I couldn't be there, but brother-in-law takes priority. After years of growing up together. But go ahead.
Yeah, to everyone watching, we will have a dedicated YouTube channel and possibly Twitch channel, and that's where this is going to be streaming live next. So on YouTube, it's just at College Fanfair, and the channel is called the College Fanfair. So go subscribe to that. If you want to see us next Sunday, hopefully you'll be back by then to record. Talk about it. Okay.
Follow us both on Twitter. What's your handle again?
Not Nietzsche. It's the same as my Twitch handle. Go ahead and follow my Twitch. So
mine is at the Barney Man. You can also catch me on Mike Farrell Sports. In the meantime, peace out.
Peace out. Okay. We're done. So we have to wait till Monday for the week one. And I would like to do it on Sunday though. Just to talk to you later.